A lush vineyard at sunset, vibrant green leaves and glowing purple grapes hang temptingly high. A sleek red fox enters the scene, eyes glinting with desire as he spots the grapes. The camera follows his determined gaze, zooming in on the unreachable fruit. He crouches and leaps repeatedly, each attempt falling short, with slow-motion shots capturing his frustrated efforts. The mood shifts as the fox, panting and annoyed, sits beneath the vine. He scoffs, flicks his tail, and mutters, "They're probably sour anyway," before walking away. The camera lingers on the grapes, shimmering mockingly in the fading light. A soft fade to black reveals the moral text. It's easy to despise what you cannot have. In a lush jungle, a mighty lion found himself trapped in a hunter's net, struggling to break free. A tiny mouse, courageous and determined, approached the helpless lion. The mouse nibbled through the ropes and freed the lion. Even the smallest creatures can make a big difference. In a lush green meadow, a hard-working ant gathers food for the winter. Nearby, a carefree grasshopper sings and dances, basking in the sun. As the seasons change, the meadow transforms into a snowy landscape. The ant is warm and well-fed inside its cozy home. The grasshopper, cold and starving, begs the ant for food. The ant refuses, reminding the grasshopper to plan ahead. The grasshopper regrets not preparing for the winter. Moral: prepare today for the needs of tomorrow. Once upon a time, a bored young shepherd boy decided to cry out, "Wolf!" to get attention. The villagers rushed to help, only to find there was no wolf. The boy laughed at their reaction. He repeated this trick, and the villagers rushed to help again, but again, there was no wolf. Later, a real wolf appeared and attacked the sheep. The boy cried for help, but the villagers ignored him. The wolf attacked the flock, and the boy learned that lying causes others to lose trust. On a scorching hot day, a thirsty crow searches desperately for water. After a long search, it finds a pitcher with a small amount of water at the bottom. But the water is out of reach, and the crow can't drink it. The crow has a clever idea and starts dropping pebbles into the pitcher. With each pebble, the water level rises higher and higher. Finally, the water reaches the top, and the crow can drink it. Moral of the story: necessity is the mother of invention. In a dense forest, a mighty lion was caught by hunters and trapped in a heavy net. A tiny mouse, passing by, heard the lion's desperate roars and decided to help. The mouse gnawed through the ropes of the net, freeing the grateful lion. Later, the lion faced danger again but spared the mouse's life when it needed help. The mouse repaid the lion's kindness when it was caught once more, showing how acts of kindness come back around. Once upon a time, a farmer had a miraculous goose that laid a golden egg every day. As days passed, the farmer's greed grew. He imagined the fortune inside the goose. Driven by impatience, he decided to kill the goose, expecting to find all the golden eggs at once. But when he cut the goose open, he found nothing but an ordinary bird. Now, he had lost the daily golden eggs forever. Greed often overreaches itself. Once upon a time, a speedy hare boasted about being the fastest animal in the forest. Tired of the hare's bragging, the tortoise challenges the hare to a race. Confident of victory, the hare speeds ahead and decides to take a nap midway through the race. Meanwhile, the tortoise continues at a slow but steady pace. By the time the hare wakes up, the tortoise has crossed the finish line, winning the race. Once upon a time, a wolf got a bone stuck in its throat and was in great distress. The wolf saw a crane with a long neck and begged for help to remove the bone. The crane, feeling pity, agreed to help and reached into the wolf's throat with its beak, pulling out the bone. After successfully removing the bone, the crane expected a reward as a token of gratitude. The wolf thanked the crane but refused to give any reward, saying the crane should be grateful for its own safety. The crane realized the wolf's ingratitude and flew away, feeling frustrated and unheard. The ant falls into the river while drinking water and is swept away by the current. A dove perched nearby sees the ant and drops a leaf into the water. The ant climbs onto the leaf and is carried to safety, thanks to the dove. Later, a hunter comes and aims his net at the dove. The ant bites the hunter's leg, causing him to drop the net. The dove flies away safely, thanks to the ant's help. In a small village, a blind man who could walk and a lame man who could see met by chance. They decided to work together. The blind man climbed onto the lame man's back, guiding the way. Using the blind man's guidance and the lame man's strength, they navigated the village effectively. They overcame obstacles that neither could have tackled alone, proving that collaboration is key. Together they show that two heads are better than one. A hungry fox notices a crow sitting in a tree with a piece of cheese in its beak. The fox decides to flatter the crow, praising its beautiful voice and suggesting the crow sing a song for him. Eager to show off, the crow begins to sing, and as it opens its mouth, the cheese falls to the ground. The fox quickly grabs the cheese and eats it. The moral of the story: do not be fooled by flattery. A wise farmer, nearing the end of his life, calls his sons together for an important lesson. He tells them about a hidden treasure in the field, instructing them to dig and find it. The sons dig up the entire field, finding no treasure but realizing the value of their hard work. Their efforts lead to a bountiful harvest, showing that hard work brings its own rewards. This is the story of a cunning wolf who wanted to prey on a flock of sheep. To trick the shepherd, the wolf decided to disguise itself by wearing a sheep's wool. Blending in among the unsuspecting flock, the wolf waited for the right moment to strike. However, the shepherd soon noticed the wolf's behavior. Something seemed off, and the shepherd decided to take a closer look. The shepherd saw through the disguise and realized it was a wolf. The shepherd quickly acted to save the sheep, revealing the moral of the story: appearances can be deceiving. Once upon a time, a dog lay in a manger, guarding hay it did not need. A hungry ox approached, hoping to eat the hay. But the dog growled and kept the ox away, even though it didn't need the hay. The poor ox went hungry because of the dog's selfishness. The moral: don't stop others from enjoying what you don't need yourself. Once upon a time in a lively meadow, a small frog watched with envy as a giant ox grazed nearby. Determined to match the ox's size, the frog began to puff up its tiny body. No matter how much it puffed up, the frog remained small, but it didn't give up. Finally, the frog puffed up so much that it burst, unable to bear the pressure anymore. The moral of the story: don't try to be something you're not. Embrace who you are. A lamb was drinking from a gentle stream. A hungry wolf approached and accused the lamb of disrupting the water. Despite the lamb's innocent defense, the wolf attacked and killed it. The moral of the story: might makes right. Once upon a time, there was a dog walking with a piece of meat in its mouth. As the dog approached a stream, he saw his own reflection in the water. The dog mistakenly believed it saw another dog with a bigger piece of meat. Greedy and wanting the bigger piece, the dog barked at the reflection. In the process, it dropped its own piece of meat into the stream. Distraught, the dog realized its mistake, but it was too late. Two friends, John and Mark, were walking through a dense forest, enjoying the beauty of nature. Suddenly, they encounter a bear. John, without thinking, runs away, leaving Mark behind. In a split second, Mark remembers a nearby tree and quickly climbs up to safety. The bear sniffs around, and realizing it can't reach Mark, eventually wanders off. Once the bear is gone, John returns and tries to make light of the situation. Mark comes down and looks sternly at John, saying, "A friend in need is a friend indeed." In a peaceful meadow, a flock of sheep grazed happily. But among them lurked a wolf, cleverly disguised as one of their own. The wolf intended to deceive and attack the unsuspecting sheep. However, one day, the wolf's disguise began to slip, revealing its true nature. The flock realized the danger and rallied to confront the wolf. The wolf, now exposed, faced the consequences of its deceitful actions. Moral: deceitful actions come with consequences. In a vast forest, a mighty oak tree stood tall and proud, unwavering in any weather. Beside the oak, a humble reed swayed gently with the wind, bending with every gust. One day, a fierce storm approached, and the wind began to howl through the forest. The mighty oak stood firm, resistant to the storm's force. However, the reed bent gracefully, allowing the wind to pass over it without resistance. Eventually, the oak could no longer withstand the storm, and was uprooted, crashing to the ground. The reed, having bent and swayed, remained standing, unbroken by the storm. A miser buries his gold in the ground, hoping to keep it safe. He never spends or enjoys it, despite his wealth. One day, someone digs up the gold, leaving the miser devastated and empty-handed. The miser realizes that his wealth has brought him no happiness. Wealth that is not enjoyed is wasted.